Alright guys, we got a couple of treats for today with the games Lost in Random and Party Hard. Let's not waste any time and get right into it. Alright, time to try to explain this game without getting YouTube angry. Party Hard is an action stealth game where you play as a guy that just wants to get some sleep, but his neighbors are just partying too loud. Instead of just calling the cops like a normal person, he decides to take matters into his own hands and unalive all of the party guests. Then you do a victory dance all over their freshly made graves. You can either do it directly with your knife, hazards like fires and fans, etc., or you can set up traps around the party to get rid of party guests indirectly, such as turning on cars, rigging bubblegum machines, or poisoning the food and drinks. You can also use phones around the level to cause things to happen, anything from more guests arriving to a special character coming by to drop off items that you can use. You can also dance near people, which causes them to walk away from you from the sheer amount of cringe, which you can use to separate people from groups and make them easier to pick off. You have to do all of this while avoiding getting caught. If the guests see an unalive guest, they will call the police. And if you're caught in the act, the police officer will chase you down. You can run away from the officers, however, that guest could get more paranoid of you and then try to fight back when the red bar above their head becomes full. Though you could also lead paranoid guests away to pick them off too. This game is definitely hard for beginners, but it's not impossible. You're better off taking it slow, waiting for a good opportunity, and planning ahead than just rushing in with knife slashing and guns blazing. If you're more so looking for something that you can just rush in and cause as much chaos as possible, the gameplay here probably isn't for you. But if you're okay with causing as much chaos as possible in a bit more of a sneaky way, then this should be up your alley. Of course, the pixel art is gorgeous, and there's great music throughout the levels, especially if you like electronic dance music. The mechanics can be a bit confusing if you're new to it, and some things are a bit random and unclear at first, like the phone calls and the results from them. So you either have to play a bit with trial and error, or look up strategies on the wiki. There are also some newspapers on the ground with game tips, though they don't necessarily explain everything either. There's about 20 levels in the game, so you're looking between 7 to 13 hours, depending on how fast you complete the level, or if you're looking for 100% completion, which isn't bad considering the game is about $10. And if you're a Twitch streamer, this could be a fun game to play with your audience, as it allows audience participation and for your audience members to try to mess with you. If something like this seems up your alley, I highly recommend picking it up. Next up is Lost in Random. In this game, you follow the lives of two siblings named Even and Odd. Long ago in their world, everything was more fair and people would roll dice in order to make decisions or add some spice to their lives. Now the only one who is able to control a dice is the Queen, who has divided the world into 6 segments, with the poorest and most badly treated being in the land of Oneers, and the richest and most privileged being in the land of Sixers. When Odd is forced to roll the Queen's dice on her 12th birthday, she is whisked away to the land of Sixers, and Even goes on a journey to find her. With the help of one of the last dice of this world she names Dicey. Most of the game is just you exploring the different areas, talking to the very strange and colorful townsfolk, and finding fish statues to break open for money. Maybe occasionally there are some puzzles or stealth elements. There's also combat in this game. At first in every battle, your only weapon is your slingshot, but once you have enough dice energy, you're able to draw a card. You can then roll your dice, and depending on which side of the dice you land on, you're able to use a card. If you're not able to roll high enough for a card, then you lose whatever cards are in your hand. You can also strategize while in the dice dimension, whether you want to lose some distance on the enemy, get the first hit in, or place a hazard. The Queen has a terrifying and gorgeous design, and I love the atmosphere and visuals of the game. It's very Tim Burton-esque. The soundtrack and sound design are also incredible, and this feels like some kind of a twisted fairy tale. For my first impressions of the game, I do have a couple of complaints. First area of the game is a bit slow, especially after we get introduced to the combat first thing. A lot of it is just walking from point A to point B, following a certain NPC, and talking to people, which I just started to avoid conversations I didn't need to get into so I could get to the next objective faster. They just didn't interest me that much. The first area of the world also isn't super fleshed out. I know that they're supposed to be miserable and all, but it doesn't make for the most interesting first couple hours of gameplay. Next has to do with the combat. Once you're able to draw a card, it's pretty fun. However, in order to get dice energy to even draw a card, you have to hit these crystals on the enemies with your slingshot. These clusters clusters of crystals are tiny, and the aiming with the slingshot is a little bit cumbersome and not very quick. Not only that, but the enemies move rather fast, so it's very clunky and frustrating to get your first card drawn. Though the game did suck me in for a couple of hours, so it's not like I hated playing it. However, if any of the cons I listed would be an issue for you, I would either do more research into the game or wait until it's on sale. If you're looking to get the game, you can expect 13 to 18 hours to finish the game, so it's a decent length, but it's a bit of a pricier game at $29.99. I'd probably recommend getting it when it's on sale, but that's really up to you. If Lost in Random seems appealing to you, go ahead and pick it up. We came across a couple of gems today. Have you played either of these games before? What did you think of them? Let me know in the comments down below. And go ahead and click that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me in the future. Until next time, this is Danse Macabre, signing off. Bye.